Welcome to Simply Trade, brought to you by Global Training Center. We are featuring a new segment for the podcast that we will be running on the weekends. These episodes will feature Annik, Sobing, and myself, Lalo, where we will take a current news event or trending trade topic and break it down for those of you in the audience that are just starting to get into the field of trade compliance. Enjoy the show and let us know how we're doing. Hey everyone, welcome back to Simply Trade, our podcast. We are starting a new series here with one of our team members here at Global Training Center. Her name is Annik Sobing, which a lot of you met through some of our previous episodes that we recorded at ICPA at the conference here a few weeks ago. So this, just real quickly, this is going to be a series that we're going to do for kind of people who are getting started, just like Annik. A lot of people like the fact that she's a newbie when we went to the conference, and they really liked the fact that, you know, they didn't feel intimidated like talking to like Andy or myself or anybody else that has a lot of experience. And so we felt that that was a good fit. So we're going to use Annik to record these short episodes. We're going to try to shoot for 10 to 12, maybe 13 minutes long. Real quick tip, maybe a quick information on something that might come up. So Annik, do you want to say a little more on that?
Yeah, so I'm very excited to be on the podcast now again. It was so much fun at the conference, and I'm happy to be here. Obviously, I just do the marketing, but I do have a lot to do with trade because I need to kind of understand it in ways. So I'm glad I'm getting to know even more now through these podcasts and what we're about to record, because this is something I was not aware of before and I couldn't really connect the dots. So I could only imagine people that are getting into it or maybe don't remember quite the basics of it, to kind of refresh the memory.
Right. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to try to tie it in, and Annik and I talked a lot about this. And so what we're going to do is we're going to try to tie it into like current events. It might be a story that ran earlier in the week that was significant, like sanctions or whatever, right? We'll try to tie it in that way. But in this case, because the world's largest sporting event is coming here pretty soon, we're towards the middle of November, but we're talking about
the World Cup, yay, which is very exciting. Thanks, Sophia.
So we have the World Cup coming, and I told Annik, I think I have the perfect topic that we can use to kick this show off and to tie it into the World Cup. Like, what does the World Cup have to do with trade, right? I mean, we've got to figure it out.
I didn't know, that's for sure.
We're a bunch of soccer fanatics here. We have Miss Germany here.
Yes, soccer fan,
Right.
But I did not know that this topic was related, or I couldn't relate it before I took this course. So I took a 1 hour short course.
Right. And then these courses it's a 1 hour short course. It's recorded. It's free on our website. Just go to globaltrainingcenter.com. Or even just contact any one of us.
And we'll have a link below as well.
We'll have a link on the show notes, right, on how to get to the class. It's free. It's recorded. It's really relevant too. So
yeah, and it's very easy to understand. I mean, I understood it, and I have no idea of trade really. But really, what this course was about the ATA carnet. So understanding kind of how to import things
into
quicker, into different country a little bit quicker, and not dealing with so much paperwork.
Right.
And so I was really trying to figure out how that relates to the World Cup. But you know, the World Cup is in a different country from all these other countries that are attending.
Right.
So what they need to do is they need to get all their equipment there. All the media needs to take all their stuff, and you know that's not going to last for years. They just need to import all these crazy things and then take them with them again.
Right.
So that's where the ATA carnet comes in, because they're not really importing things to sell.
Right.
Or, you know, give to other people. They're just bringing it to use it for themselves.
Right.
Which you can do with the ATA carnet.
Right.
It also is a deferment from duty and tax, right?
Right, which is perfect because you don't want to be paying taxes on something that you're going to eventually just take back out of the country.
Yeah.
and you're traveling all over the place. So how long is the ATA carnet normally for?
It's for 12 months.
Correct.
Which is great. I don't know how long the World Cup is, but it's definitely not 12 months.
No,
I know that.
it's a few weeks. Thank goodness. Yeah.
So they'll be fine with that one. But it's basically, there's 3 types that you can use the ATA carnet for. So it's the commercial samples.
Right.
Like clothing, rings, computers. There's professional equipment, which is probably what they're working with most.
Right. The professional equipment like the cameras and stuff like that.
And then goods for display at trade fairs.
Right. So you and I talked about that. We went to ICPA earlier this month or last month. But what if that was in Europe?
Yeah, we would. I mean, we have a lot of equipment, especially if we take our podcast. So what we would have to do is get an ATA carnet and then get our stuff over there, which will be much easier than going the entire process.
Right. So that's a good point. And as we speak on Twitter today and yesterday, there's a huge trending hashtag.
Yeah.
What is it? I got my email.
Oh, Taylor Swift, which I am waiting for my tickets. I'm in line for my tickets right now. But I
thought I related because there's 2 things she loves: soccer and Taylor Swift.
Great, I listen to her all day.
So I told her Taylor Swift has a lot to do with this topic too, with trade. So
she's going out on tour in Europe, which she's going to have lots of equipment to take. I mean, like ridiculous amounts. So what she's going to do is do the ATA carnet. So she kind of gets rid of, again, all the paperwork and the excessive stuff that she shouldn't have to deal with.
Right.
So the easy route is to do the ATA carnet. It's actually cheaper, right? It's much cheaper because you're not paying all these taxes.
It is. So when you break it down, and we encourage everybody to watch the video, it's really cool because we... the speaker on the instructor on that video breaks it down and does a what if, like if your material is worth X $1,000 and you're importing that into China and then you bring it back out and then you put it into Australia, a bunch of countries in that 12-month period, how much would you have paid in taxes or duties versus the one single ATA, again, because it's worth or it's good for a year. Use that one single ATA carnet to go into multiple countries. Of course, the ones that respect it. And I don't. Did you learn how many countries? Or?
On the PowerPoint it says 87, but I know it's updated now to about 100.
Correct.
So that's a win because there's 100 countries. I'm sure the one that you're gonna import to is gonna have that. But I think something to note that is very important about the ATA carnet is that you cannot sell those things. Whatever you're bringing, you're not even paying taxes on it, right? So you cannot sell it. You're just using it for your own goods. Let's say you made a shirt or made shirts here in the United States and you've been selling them here and now you want to sell them, let's say in Germany. So what you would do with the ATA carnet, you would ship those shirts over there, but you couldn't sell them. It would just to show other people, right?
Right. Like
what you have.
Like to show to the department stores, for example, so they can carry your product and, touch it, feel it, et cetera. Yeah.
That's very important, especially.
The other thing that I wanted to also mention on that is that, there's a bunch of details on the ATA carnet. We're touching on the surface only because for the interest of time, but secondly also because we do want to keep it basic. But it is a very powerful tool that someone can use. They can have in their shipping tool bag per se, to have and be able to use. It's very important because what Annik was saying. Regarding, and these are the details that I was talking about, but really quickly, what she was saying, you can't sell it. What that means is that ATA carnet, you're promising that you're going to ship it into that country, carry it into that country, let's say the UK or Germany, and you're going to show your wares, whatever you're using, or maybe, like your equipment, like let's say it was us doing our podcast equipment. If somebody really loved our setup and they said, hey, I'll give you $10,000 for that, we really can't sell it because then we do need to pay the duties and taxes and all that on it. And that's against the rules of doing the ATA. You're promising you're going to ship it back out.
Yeah.
Exactly the items that you have listed on that cart on the carnet, you're gonna ship out. So.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's so important to kind of, I mean, before you even consider doing an ATA carnet, you want to educate it yourself as best as possible. And I think that actually goes with anything you're doing in the industry of trade, just because you can get fined so much, which I've been learning at the conference. I learn it, just by working here. So anything you're doing or possibly want to move forward with needs to be truly looked at before, and just getting educated, which is nice because I mean, this is a free class. You don't even have to pay to get educated for this.
You're all set. Free of charge, of course.
So it's awesome. But we do have lots of paid classes, which would work.
Right. Well, we do like our exporting class. We'll go into a little bit more detail on this, and that is a full day class, and of course that one is you do have to pay for that one, but. We're sort of running out of time. I kind of just want to wrap up by saying, take a look at it. I mean, that's a good topic for you to get started on, and we hope to keep on doing more episodes that are related to topics. Next week it's Thanksgiving. Hopefully we'll record I have an idea on what to record for Thanksgiving, but we'll keep it going that way. If y'all have any ideas or thoughts, let us know. Please comment, or how do you like to say? Follow.
Please comment, like, and subscribe. Actually, yeah. I mean, you would just like this podcast on Spotify, whichever you're using. We're on all platforms.
Right.
I personally like Spotify. He listens to Apple Music. So whichever you prefer, it's all the same.
Right.
And if you do want to hear a certain topic, bring it on. I might not know it, but I'll definitely educate myself on it so we can talk about it.
Right. And then we'll just touch on everything that we can. And we will, when we post this video, below the video, we should have a comment section. Let us know how you use ITA carnets, right? I mean, let us know what you learned, what you want to learn. Just
if you knew this was even a thing, did you know about it? Have you been in trade and never heard about an ATA carnet? I'm sure that's unlikely, but if you haven't, let us know.
Yeah,
that'd be interesting.
That'll be really cool to hear. That way we know how we're reaching you and how we want to hear about what your thoughts are and everything. So,
or what we could do better,
Exactly.
Like, do you want this to be longer? Do you want to hear me speak a little longer about trade or anything I don't know about? But thank you guys so much for listening. I really enjoyed this little conversation.
Awesome. Yeah. So we hope to see you all next week, and or you can hear us next week. Thank you all, and
thank you. Have a great day.
Bye, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. Simply Trade is brought to you by the generous contributions of Global Training Center. You can follow the show and GTC on LinkedIn or Twitter and other social networks. Make sure you check out the show notes in the description for a full rundown of today's show with all the important links. Also, make sure that you share this with a friend and subscribe on your favorite streaming platform. We really like hearing from you. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to rate and review wherever you listen to this podcast. If you or someone you know would like to be a guest in the show, or would like to sponsor Simply Trade, or suggest any topic you would like for us to discuss, please contact us via email at simplytrade@globaltrainingcenter.com, or you can DM us on Twitter at simplytradepod. Thank you again for the privilege of your time. Happy trading. Simply Trade is not a law firm or an advisor. The topics and discussions conducted by Simply Trade hosts and guests should not be considered and is not intended to substitute legal advice. All liability with respect to actions taken or not taken based on the contents of this podcast are hereby expressly disclaimed.